Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Energetic Life Now show. I am your host, Eric Stenlake. Welcome to the Spanglish World and her networks on Zingo TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download both the Zingo TV app on your respective app stores, which is iOS and Android devices. And when you do that, we would really appreciate it if you would rate us and leave us a comment. That would be awesome. Of course, the apps are free. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and on all TVs, smart TVs, 2016 and forward. Thank you guys for tuning in so much from around the world. Welcome. It is my honor and privilege to welcome my good friend Cindy Gold here today. She is the founder and CEO of Create Your Victorious Life as a strategist and coach, a neuroencoding dual elite specialist, and joy catalyst. Cindy, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. How the heck are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. This is such a privilege and honor. We're going to have a blast.
Absolutely. So, Cindy, I know that you've got your own show, which is just absolutely phenomenal, and so I thank you for taking time out to jump on here with me. So, talking about you today, looking at the words "a joy catalyst." I mean that right there just really sticks out to me because I'm gonna showcase you today's post that you just did this morning on Facebook, embracing the oopsie daisies of life. Because stumbling and fumbling is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone to greatness and to your victory. Keep moving forward, keep learning, keep going, keep growing, keep smiling through the opportunities. Be victorious, be radiant. Love you, Cindy. If there's not a representation of your victorious life and being a catalyst of your own joy, I don't know what is. Like, I was reading that this morning as I was drinking my coffee. I was like, yes. Like, you had me celebrating this morning. So tell us a little bit, Cindy, about how did all of this come together for you with
God.
your creating your victorious life?
It's interesting because I think, like with all things, it comes together from like that post, the oopsie daisies in life, the things that come in front of you that present themselves, and you have two choices, right? You can either sink or swim. That's
Yeah.
it. And how you swim, you can swim against the waves, you can swim with the waves. I'm Hawaiian, you can boogie board the waves, you can surf the waves, right? Exactly. You can do it whichever way you want. My choice to do it is to do it with joy.
Mm,
And to be honest, I find joy. I have a strong faith, and I
mhm.
find joy in the Lord. And I look at things, I- and I can choose to look at them whether they happen to me or for me, and I look for the treasure within that. It's either a challenge or an opportunity, right? I mean, it really boils down to, this is my moment in my life. I'm alive right now,
Yeah.
right this minute, right? And so if I'm alive right now, what do I want to put out? Because whatever you put out, you're going to get back.
That is so true. Whatever you put out, you're going to get back, right? Because if I am putting out negativity, that negativity is coming back to me. If I'm putting out positivity, that positivity is coming back to me. And that has just been proven over and over and over again. I know in my life. And when I get so hung up and stuck in the uncontrollables, the variables of which I try to control, that I realize I don't have control. I need to release that in order to bring myself back into positivity, back into joy, and collect myself. How does that show up for you, Cindy?
Hmm. There are so many uncontrollables, right? That happen every single day. I even live in a where sometimes in the winter your electricity might get knocked out, and it's below zero. What are you doing,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, and what do you do with those things? And so even in that kind of situation, I mitigate it before it happens. So for
Mm,
me, what you asked me originally, I anchor myself in joy, and it's a practice that I do, and I do that by looking at everything I'm grateful for. I mean, it's wherever we want to, whatever lens we want to look through, and wherever we want to focus, because you and I both know where our focus goes, our energy goes, right?
right.
And so whatever we're focusing on, so it's so easy to focus on the bad, sad, mad, all the things, right?
Yes.
Like I know you're a Covey, right? Stephen
Yep.
Covey guy. And the story that he gave in the beginning, like in the beginning of Seven Habits with the gentleman and his children on the subway or whatever,
Yep.
right? That whole story. And when somebody's mad and they show you one of 10 of their fingers, right? And
Yes.
used to, like me, I'm like the shaka girl. Hey, have a great day. You
Yeah.
know, but instantly, instead of getting mad, it's easy, I feel, for myself to, like, golly, maybe I should just pray for that person. What's going on?
Yeah.
Did they get a
Yeah.
bad call? Are they in an argument? Or is there somebody in the hospital? I mean, really, right? And it could be none of those things, but I'll never know. So it's
Yeah.
better for me just to be in that spot. Wouldn't you agree? Or
Sure.
what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, I live in Southern California, so getting on, pulling out of the driveway, you're taking your life in your own hands. It's a 50-50. You get on the 5 freeway, it's 5 lanes on this side and 5 lanes on that side, and you're like, "Oh, sweet Jesus, just get me where I need to go safely and bring me back home," right?
Exactly.
And yeah, it's turned into the Fast and Furious movies out on the roadways.
Yeah.
And where you used to have, be able to identify a person every once in a while driving, erratically or whatnot, it seems like it's everyone and everywhere. And I think when you've got that kind of uncontrollable pressures on, it's so easy to get frustrated. It's so easy to get angry. It's so easy to feel yourself, the anxiety rising. And when I do that, I got to stop myself. And I picture myself, my the outline of my body as a remote control, and I
Ooh,
push my pause button for a minute, and I say, okay,
ooh.
hold on, listen. Whose frame of reference are you coming from here? Is this your frame of reference or their frame of reference? Because if I'm mad at them for them being them, I'm trying to put expectations around something that I can't. That's them.
100%.
How about if I put some expectations around me? If I want to stay positive, if I want to stay in joy, if I want to have hope and energy and fulfillment, close by within me, right? This is where I got to stop and take a look at. You know what? They're going to do them. Go, be you. Best of luck to you. I
Be
need to
you,
focus. I got to focus here on me, right? Because God knows I'm a hot mess anyway. And if I allow all these external things to come in and really get me all boiled up, well, forget about it. I'm done for the rest of the day.
right, right. So do you make that decision? I know for myself, I make that decision before I leave the house. I make that decision, right? And you've got children and a family and a wife and those things. And I know even for myself, and we've got busy days. You travel and you speak and teach and do all the things. And now we've got extra responsibilities that mean things to us. And I make that decision ahead of time, and it's really important to me. So there's certain things, some things that I do, like I have a practice, habits, right?
Mhm.
Habits create our life, and you'd be shocked at some of the habits and rituals you have if you're not paying attention, like stupid stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like even little things. Like I remember teaching uh, a group of women that wanted to release weight, and
Mhm.
and one of the habits that people have is when you clear the table and you take your child's plate, they eat the rest of theirs that's on there, right? I mean, think about it, right? Oh, little Johnny left his roll. Oh, there's gravy. Oh, yum. Right. I mean, it's such a natural habit.
Don't
Well, my
waste
mom,
food.
right, right.
Yeah.
Why waste food? And we both probably grew up in that era too, where you don't waste it. Like, I mean, we saved everything and like all the little leftovers and all that stuff, right? And my mom taught me this thing years ago, and it was so cool. She's like, hey, you want to overcome that kind of thing? When you take a dish plate before you stick it in the sink, you're not eating that. You know? And I thought, brilliant, right? But it's all those little
Yes.
things. And so for myself, I set my intention and my day before I even get out of bed. You know, I
Mm,
drink, I know you probably do the same thing. We drink that 8+ ounces of water in the morning, and
yeah.
I'm already having a dialogue for me. I say good morning to myself. I thank God that I'm here. I ask God, hey, what's your plan for me today? And see where my plans align with that. And then when my feet hit the ground, I move my body. And I have a praise and devotional, thing that I do. I get in the word, I do all those things. And it sets my intention
Mhm.
so that, and I ask, please, God, remind me to be loving and kind and gracious and joyful and aware of who may need me in that moment, whether it's the checker at the grocery store
Right.
or for you if it's your spouse or whatever, because she might wake up freaked out because she has a busy day. And then,
Mhm.
it's easy to trigger each other, right? And it all rolls downhill from there. Or you can just create sunshine, right?
That's Oh, I love that. I love that. As both of us being involved at the Neuroencoding Institute with Dr. Joseph McClendon III, right, and all
Yes.
of our incredible instructors that we have there. I'll never forget the very very first neuroencoding conference that I went to, and our our master coach, Vinu Keller, and she was giving a presentation on being present, right?
Yes.
And Dr. Joseph McClendon has talked about this a million times about being present. And you just mentioned it as well. How do we get ourselves into that space of being present before, right? As opposed to being so busy, I forget to prepare myself, and then I go out and a lot of times there's those experiences where then I've got to really really push that pause and go, whoa, step back here. Let's reevaluate what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So, if, for instance, just getting out the door in the morning, I am preparing myself. I'm getting ready to get on the road. Please, God, let me be kind. Let me be patient. Let me be understanding, let me be loving, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, I'm right back at him. You're gonna wave at me, I'm gonna wave at you. How about that, right? And that can go both ways on that, right? in,
Yeah.
in a work situation where it's like next week I'm getting ready to go work with teens in Nevada, right? And already I'm preparing my heart and my mind space
Yeah.
for that. you
Yes.
know what do these kids need that I can bring to them that's going to help them better their lives? What can I do to help bring about active change that they will be willing to engage in to get the results that they want in their lives? And so I think that whole space of really being present and aware, you know, brings about, like we're saying, the awareness of doing it and getting into the habit and practice of doing that.
Mhm.
Because we have a little poem at the Neuroencoding Institute: as I think, so I feel; as I feel, so I do; as I do, so I have. If my have is to be in joy, have hope, energy, fulfillment, lead that victorious life, what
Yeah.
do I need to get into thinking and feeling about in the preparation of?
Yes. Thank you. And really, what do I need to believe? What
Hmm.
do I need to believe to create that outcome, to create that victorious life? And how did I create that? So I like to look, even with goals and other things, because you work with our youth, which is so important. And I like to look at things from backwards. So, hey,
Hmm.
I here I am. It's the end of the year. These are all the amazing things. Like people have vision boards. I have a gratitude board. My gratitude board is everything I created this year, and I create it in January and I reflect on it in December.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's just the opposite of envisioning it. No, I'm looking at it like, here I am. It's the end of 2023. These are the things that we did. And and what did I have to do? What did I have to believe to do that, to make it happen? And all of the things that no matter if it's tough stuff that you're working through or other things that you're working on, for me, it's pretty much anchored in joy. I don't,
Hmm.
there's a lot of things we do that we don't want to do, but we could flip the energy and make it fun and make it
Yeah.
joyful. I mean, we're
Yeah.
cool people. We can have
Yeah.
fun.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
and
yeah,
I think it comes down to the language that we speak to ourselves as
yes,
well, right?
yes,
Because
yes,
if I'm looking at, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. Where does that energy suck from my joy? It just pulls it right out. And instead of flipping that language and saying, I'm going to go take the trash out now, I'm going to go do the laundry, I'm going to go pick up my kid, I'm going to do this on, and be good with it and create that energy sustainability in the menial tasks. I
yes.
find at the end of the day, when I get into reflection in my rest, I'm like, bro, this day was like freaking fire. Like, I don't even know what happened today. I know I did a million things, but I just feel so good.
Yes, yes. You know what's cool for me is it boils down to gratitude.
Yeah.
I take the trash out, and you know what, Lord, thank you so much that I have all this trash because I had food, because I
Yeah.
had shampoo, because I had whatever. And thank you. I'm not eating from the trash.
Right.
I have trash to take out, right? The same thing with, clothes. Doing my laundry or doing my dishes or anything. Thank you that I have great dishes that I love, and thanks that I have some cool clothes that I can wash. It's like if that's your lens that you look from, it's amazing how many things you have given to you that come towards you that you get to be
Mhm.
thankful for and continually get to be thankful for, right? I
Yeah.
mean, and it really boils down to that to me, in my life and to look at when you come from that place, like you teach youth, and what a tough time for our kids.
Oh,
I mean, I grew up in a home where I had outstanding parents, and my dad was with the airlines, and so and my parents divorced when I was in high school, and I still had incredible relationships, and I have. My mother's still with me and on this earth, and she's phenomenal. Holy cow. And I look at that because they both taught me to be thankful in all things all the time for
yeah.
everything, and everything that comes towards you, be grateful. Like it's well, like we said earlier, is it a challenge or an opportunity? And if it's an opportunity, what is it an opportunity for? And then how can I use it to bless each other or bless
Mhm.
others? Because at the end of the day, everything that we're given, right, if we can use our gifts, our talents, our resources to be a blessing to others, just think how the world would be. And I don't mean that in an airy fairy kind of way. I mean that legitimately. Like for you and your wife, if you guys came from a place, and you probably already do this, but if you woke up every morning like, oh my gosh, like it's a contest, how can I outbless my wife?
Mm,
How can I outbless her? You do that with your kiddos, and you teach your children to do that. Then they take that into the world. Like, how can I outbless my teacher today? Like, how can I outbless the students? Right. And I mean, and with kids, what a wonderful example you are, because they grow up typically without one of the parents in the home now, right?
mhm,
And then the
mhm.
other parents working their socks off trying to make everything happen. And then the parent comes home, and then there's the battle of did you clean your room? Did you do this? What about your homework? Oh my gosh, how are you flunking PE of all classes? Like, right? And instead of what's really going on in here, what
Yeah.
kind of traumas have they endured in the midst of your trauma, right?
Yeah.
And I know you see those things because, I mean, holy cow, look at your new appointment at the Neurocoding Institute, chairman of education and youth. I mean, there wasn't another choice. There's no other choice in our
Thank you.
institute for that. I mean, and how cool that you mentioned Vinu, our favorite, that we love so much, and you just joined her team. That's so incredible. So these are things that you live and walk and breathe,
Yeah.
right? But I
Yeah.
know, how does that, like, to create a victorious life for you, what I always love to ask, what does that mean? Like, what does a victorious life look like to you?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say there was a time in my life where I would look at the word victorious or victory
Mhm.
and have it attached to tangible physical outcomes, if you will. And
Mhm.
and I think in my old age, I've begun to shift that really to look at victorious in my mindset and in my psychology, meaning my belief about things and my belief and understanding about myself, others, in the world around me. And I think that is the number one that I get out of bed today and I say, okay, how do I keep my mindset and my psychology in a place that um, I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to have that joy, have that energy. And I think that's what I've deemed to be really, really important. Everything else I'm looking at as kind of task items, if you will, in my daily and weekly planning,
Mhm.
right? Even if it's something that would be, like what we were saying before, the vision board experience, where hey, oh, I'm trying to, save up for a house, or I'd like to do this, or I'd like to do that. Sure, those things are going to happen, but first I've got to start in here,
Yep.
right? And so if I dial this in immediately in my rise routine in the morning, and facing that day with a pure heart, a pure mind, really in that, like you're saying, in that space of gratitude, and that cliche attitude of gratitude, right? We see bumper stickers everywhere, but really the science behind that, really for me, stems into my output of that positivity, and then of course that input as well, because it's going to come back. So long way around. What does a victorious life look for you? It's right here.
Yep.
Because if I skip doing this mindset and psychology and beliefs about myself, others, the world around me, and my understanding of the why behind,
Right.
I find when I'm in that, everything else, I'm like, I can deal with it. I can deal with life. I can deal with challenges, the oopsie daisies, as you put this morning, right? And understand that I don't need to get all wired up about it. Be like, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that happened. Oh, and how out of whack it'll get me. And I'll start spinning like the Tasmanian devil.
So easy, right?
Ah,
I know, thank you for that. It's interesting because you see yourself as the remote, and I see everything in frequency. And
mm,
I do. And so I use the remote a lot. And I tell people, look, if you don't like the channel you're on, change the channel. Grab
change it.
that remote and change the channel. And it's about frequency to me. In those moments, it's really about, and it isn't a better than, greater than, less than, good, bad, enough, not enough. It's not that. It's simply science. Like
Mhm,
simple.
mhm.
If I'm not connected to the right people, I need to change that. Only I can change that, right? Because for some reason, I'm
Yeah.
attracting that level of people. I remember, so there was a time in my life a few years ago, golly, it was 2017, and we moved to a town that population 432 people, lumberjack-ish, nobody that was even slightly, one person, I think, no, there were two people that had a darker skin tone. Other than that, it was all lumberjacky, right? And that was it, which it was beautiful because where we lived, I mean, bald eagles lived in my trees. I mean, it was breathtaking, right? I mean, just breathtaking. So
Yeah.
peaceful, close to the Canadian border. But I remember moving there and being sad and depressed, like, well, if I'm going to be the sum total of the five people I'm around, then what the heck?
Yeah.
I'm what, the elk? I mean, it's like the turkeys. So this is what I did. I actually, because it was about frequency for me, right?
Yeah.
And how am I going to keep leveling up in my life? So I started to download like continuously. I chose five, like Bill Winston, Tony Robbins,
Mhm.
Joseph became one of those because I would shift them as I would go, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesse Duplantis, TD Jakes. And I literally surrounded myself nonstop all day with that. That
Mhm.
was constant. They became my five people. Well, what's interesting is because of Tony, I met Joseph, and now look where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's really, and yeah. And I have to say, because I tuned into that channel, right?
Yeah.
I took my remote and I tuned in, and there's an absolute science to it. If you really want to do those things and create that victorious life, what you said, it starts right here.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have to be in alignment with here. And that has to align with your vision of what that victorious life looks like.
Hmm.
The rest of it takes care of itself. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean, and to your point earlier that you made, you like the whole Tasmanian devil. That's such a great graphic because I can like, freaking out. And that's so true because that
Yeah.
happens from the inside. You start to freak out if you didn't set your intention in the morning of this is how my day will go, regardless of anything that comes towards me. I will respond. And as you said, love, kindness, joy. And that's hard, especially when you've got, well, do you still have teenagers at home?
Yeah. Yeah. Teens and young adults. Yep.
There you
Yep.
go then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're still, making their way, figuring things out. And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Or you live in California and you drive. I mean, California and Utah, those are the two states that if you want to create anxiety, just leave the house.
Just go, just go drive. Just go drive around. Yeah.
And then go to the gas station.
Yeah.
I mean, like go to
Good.
Walmart when
Yeah.
you're
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Part also with that getting into that gratitude and starting my day. I know you and I within having that connection with Joseph, we've gone through and done what we call identity statements, right? Is where we've taken that time to really get clear as to who and what we are and where in the direction that we're going. Now, when I'm working with the teens around the U.S., we get into that same space where we talk about what is their brand. What
ooh.
is your personal brand in life? And
Wow.
so they grab their phones and they start looking at who they are on social media. And then we start doing some apple to apple comparisons, right? Do you like what you see on there? Is
Mhm,
the information posted a true representation of who you are? Are
mhm.
you putting positivity out to the world or is it negativity? Is it aligning with where you are hoping to go, wanting to go? What is the context of the information that you are feeding the world coming from this space?
Right.
Right. And
I
so and this is always a really amazing exercise to do with the kids. And so listeners around the world, if you're doing this and you're having conversations with your kids, like, listen, social media, you can use it for good or you can use it for uh you know uh things that aren't good, that are could come back and bite them later, because the kids don't understand what they're putting out there is out there forever, right?
right.
And then you go to get a job and people start doing research and they start pulling up your name and they're seeing you engage in activities and they're going, no, I'm not hiring that person, because they're the appearance of what
Right.
they're doing is, I don't want them a part of this organization. They know. And so really getting clear as to what that is. I wanted to share with you, Cindy, and with also with the listeners, kind of as I'm getting up in the morning. I have this that I read, and it might be backwards for you. Is it
I
backwards for
can
you?
read it backwards.
Okay, so
I
it's,
am a champion. I can read it backwards.
yeah.
Of power, energy, hope, love. I love that.
And
And
I'm
it's
reading this. I'm reading this as I'm starting my day. I'm a champion of power, energy, hope, and love, right?
good.
This is that positivity that I am putting out to the world because it's in here and it's what I believe about who and what I am.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I'm creating that victorious life. I'm doing that right from the beginning of my day and getting into that space. And
Yes.
and and I love then when I'm working with teens and we're talking about that and we share this and we do this exercise of which they begin to discover and uncover who they are, who they want to be, and the direction of their dreams.
Yes.
I see those shifts on social media with them where they start making change
Oh, I
in
love
alignment to who and what they want to be.
that. Wow.
And
That's
so parents, Yeah, parents around the world, this would be a really great conversation topic to have with your kids.
Yes.
Who and what do you want to be, and how do you align it to, as Cindy and I are talking about, to create that victorious life,
Yes.
to
Yes.
build that energy, that joy, that excitement, that fulfillment, because I'm satisfied with who I am and what I'm doing. People who have lost the joy in their life, they don't have fulfillment in the job that they're doing, the life that they're living, the people they're associating with, because there's something internally saying this isn't right.
Right.
And how do you shift that?
Right. And they feel just stuck there. Like, and you could even have a beautiful, fantastic, wonderful job. You could have created a beautiful home. You could be debt free. You can have all those things that seem to create that victorious life. And inside, if you're not in alignment with your assignment, fulfilling your purpose and what you've been purposed to do, you will feel like there's something off. There's something wrong. And you don't, and you sometimes you can't. And that's exactly what I do as a coach. That is what I do, is to help you figure out who you are, why you're here, and let's strategize exactly how you're going, what you're going to do about it. Because those are the things. And a lot of the people that I work with have what seems to be that beautiful life. And and with kids, they can be presented, as they get older, as we've both been presented with opportunities before. And one opportunity, it wouldn't be a bad opportunity. It's not like you're going to go sell drugs on the corner. You're, going to go work for this beautiful corporation, and you're going to make, starting pay at what, 250 plus, commissions or whatever. I mean, bonuses, all the benefits, right?
Mhm.
And inside of you, you're like, I shouldn't take that. Now on paper, you'd be nuts not to take it.
Right.
And even if you're moving, oh yeah, they're going to bless you with a house in the mountains and all this stuff. And inside you're like, yeah. And you may even have a spouse that's like, let's do it. This is what we've been praying for. But
Mhm.
inside, like you said, that internal compass. And
Sure.
what you shared about what you do with kids, oh my gosh, because you're literally not just saying, let's go buy the car. You're sticking them in the car. Let's
Mhm.
smell it. Let's see what this is about. Let's experience it. And what there's so many things that have been unfortunate about social media. And one of them is that whole comparison thing. I mean, it used to be that you would compare yourself to the, captain of the football team, you
Right.
know, right? I mean, it used to be like that was like the big thing, or, the cheerleader
Yeah.
or whatever, right? And now you're comparing yourself to the Kardashians. And I mean, to people that it's like, because they had the money and the resources, and they're beautiful, and I'm sure they're great people. But who can do that and be that,
Good.
right? And one of the things that I think that especially with youth, because I've had the privilege of being able to, and I'm excited to see what you're going to do, because I want to be involved somehow. So I've had the privilege of working with youth, through church and things like that. And one of the things that we talk about is that, whatever God does in someone else's life really has nothing to do with what he's purposed to do in yours. And when you can be in
Right.
alignment with your assignment, that's where your joy is. That's where the
Mhm.
awesome sauce is. That's where all the cool things line up for you, instead of trying so hard to be the it girl or the other thing or that, right? It's to be the it you.
Yeah.
And something else that's really interesting that and it keeps coming up, so I'm just going to throw it out there,
Yeah.
because I know you where you teach from, of course, the methods and the things, and you've been able to add all the beautiful things that we've learned through the Neuroencoding Institute and the Brain Revolution, right? Or the
Mhm. Yeah.
and pieces with brain health. When I was teaching youth one time, I remember, and it just kind of came out of my mouth, and then after that, it's like a thing. But you know how kids, they play video games, right? And they have cheat codes. I
Oh yeah.
mean, right? And
Yeah.
and so when I taught like in youth group, I'm like, okay, so because how do you get kids into their scripture? I mean, if you look at the word, and if you look at it from a standpoint of it being a guide, right? Well,
Mhm.
that's your cheat codes for life.
Yeah.
That's it. The word is your cheat codes. And and what you said, even speaking of words, your sign, your morning, I am what follows it. Those are the most powerful words of your day. And you said, what do we say to ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Because words are creative containers of energy. Every word we speak is a creative container of energy. What are you going to create with that?
Yeah.
And oftentimes the words that we speak to ourselves, if we heard somebody else talk like that to us, we would knock them out, right?
What?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Right?
Okay, listeners, did you just hear what she said? Because that was just like a my. Why do we say those things to ourselves and it not be okay that somebody else says them to us? If our internal dialogue here and here is not aligning to our, and I love the alignment to your assignment. I love that terminology.
Keep it.
Your inner speech to yourself should be, I am a champion of power, energy, hope, and love. And that is that belief system I'm carrying out into my day. Because if I am going to say that to myself, when the external comes in that wants to contradict that or debunk that, I can say, nope, absolutely not. Push that pause button. Nope. Change that channel. Nope. This is who I am. This is my belief.
100%. And,
Mm,
unfortunately, we have, a lot of stressed out, freaked out parents
yeah.
that
Yeah.
speak the negativity into their children, right?
Mm-hmm,
Just it
mm-hmm.
rolls downhill. And so a lot of our kiddos and adults, I mean, a lot of adults, all the adults we know, right? We all speak these, we've learned to do this and we've done this, and but our kids, they have to actually circumvent.
Yeah.
And, kind of like in the movie The Matrix, they have to like dodge those bullets
That's right.
coming towards them. And, even if it's from their parents, the people that you are to trust the most, that should know you the best, that should speak those life over you. Right.
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
and sometimes that's, of course, as a grown up, we learn forgiveness, because how do you deal with that with kids? Like when you're in a group, what do you do to help them through some of that?
Yeah, yeah, well, I mean, let's go back to your post, the oopsie daisies in life. They're gonna happen from moment to moment. Oopsie daisies are all day long.
Yeah.
And being able to look at those things that don't work out, the failures, if you will, as positives, the failures as opportunities for growth, the failures as I love the word fail. It's a first attempt in learning. That's what the word fail stands for. First attempt in learning. As opposed to what kids see, oh, you failed. It's the fail army on. And if they post people making mistakes and doing things, and kids get so freaked out to make a mistake because
Yes.
they don't want to be criticized, they don't want to be compared, they don't want to be put on social media, they don't want to be judged for who they are. And so I say take that oopsie daisy, take it internally and ask yourself, what do you need, just simply what do you need to do to change the outcome of that?
Right.
Is it in the mindset? Is it in that psychology? Is it in the action to get or have the result that you're looking for?
Right.
I tell my kids all the time, have a good day, go fail today.
I love
And I get this, what?
it. Wait, what now?
You, Dad, you're so weird. Yes, I am, and I love you, and go fail. Who says that to their kids? Go fail. Yeah, go make a mistake today, because if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. You
100%.
want to go through your whole life never making a mistake? What's going to happen the first time you make a mistake? You're going to
Right.
crumble and you're going to be done.
That's
And
right.
your life is going to be over according to you.
That's right. Over.
Go make a mistake. Go do that. And
Mhm.
and now, by the way, when I say mistakes, uh, one of my kids last year made a huge mistake and got into an accident with my car
Mm.
and flipped it, totaled it.
Wow.
And when he was in the hospital, he was crying and saying, Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I said, it is a thing. It is replaceable. You are not.
100%.
Tell
100.
me what you learned from this experience. You
Right.
failed by flipping the car, getting injured. You've got all of this to deal with now. What did you learn? Everything is a learning experience. And
Right.
he said, I could do this differently. As I shouldn't have changed lanes like this. I could have done that.
Right.
That was a valuable learning experience. And he now, as a driver, he will not make those mistakes again.
Mm-mm.
So learn from those mistakes and put it into that safe place with your kids. Allow them to make those mistakes. Of course, we're talking within reason here, right?
Right.
Um, right. Just don't go to your kids and say, "Hey, go do whatever you want." And, good luck to you and fail and make mistakes, because we don't want to open up Pandora's box with that one.
Right.
But no, it's creating that safe environment. So Jen and I have from the very beginning said we will not raise dependent children. We want them to have the freedom to make decisions, to make mistakes, to learn and grow continuously from that,
Right.
and get into that space and place of where they are comfortable, confident, courageous, capable human beings.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what? What a great, great dad father moment that was, that you
Mm,
took it that way instead of my car, my this, my that, and instantly taught your child that they were less than the value to you than a thing.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a
Yeah.
powerful,
Absolutely.
powerful moment for you. And so, yay, thank you for doing that. Like, seriously, I don't think people realize the ripple effect of that single event for you, for the world, because things go out. So now
Mhm.
your sense confidence, like you said, and courage, and the fact that you created yet another bridge between you and your son, another one, because you've created them his whole life, but where I'm safe with my dad.
Yeah.
My father loves me and he'll catch me and he'll allow me to learn,
Yeah.
right? Without insisting. And then what happens is that whole resistance, right?
Yeah.
Where nobody's listening. So yay, you, both of
Yeah.
you and your mom.
Cindy, I think I've well, I know I've grown and I continue to grow for myself all the time, right? And I know, and we'll put a religious perspective around this, if we will, right? To have that unconditional love,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That is a world religious view.
Yes.
To have that unconditional love. I want to add to that, because something that I've been really challenged over the last year or so is, I can have unconditional love, but I want to mirror that side by side, if you will, with unconditional acceptance.
So
And
good.
so my kids know there is nothing that they could ever say or do that would ever take away my love for them. I might be angry, mad, sad, bad, feel bad about what happened, but we create this building block of safety with them
Yes.
because I want them to lead their victorious life. I want them to create that momentum that takes them into that space of being the best humans that they can possibly be. And if
Yes.
I'm beating them down for every little thing that happens to them, we know as adults we're working with people that have been beating themselves down over and over and over for years in their mindset and their psychology, their beliefs about themselves because somebody else has been doing that to them. So when I go and work with the teens, I'm like, do not listen to that noise. You have the ability, capacity to create the life that you want to lead and move yourself from alive to thrive, create that victorious life.
I love that. I love that. And so true. And first of all, you said about unconditional acceptance and unconditional love and those pieces. I mean, all of that is like, that is God,
Yeah,
right? That is exactly 100%.
100%.
Both pieces of that. I mean, that's absolutely it. And to create that safety for your kiddos to know that, you know what? And there is a scripture that says that there's nothing that you can do that will separate my
Yeah.
love for
Not
you. Right?
heights nor depths.
That's right.
Yeah.
Matter what.
Nothing.
And so when they do make a fail forward, and it's interesting. There's a Hawaiian word that keeps coming up for me lately. It's called imua, IMUA, which means moving forward. And I think
Mhm.
of that as failing forward. Keep like I said, keep. My son always says that, keep going, keep growing. And to move forward in those pieces because you do. I love your attitude because you are learning. You know,
Mm.
it is, if you learn something from that, and I want to replace that with when you learn something from that, then you have won. There aren't really failures. And you sometimes you'll make colossal, big, huge, stupid mistakes that you knew were stupid. Your spirit told you, don't do it, don't do it.
Yeah,
Like you grew up at the same time me. So Danger Will Robinson, right? It's like,
that's right.
or you're going to repeat a pattern with a relationship, and it's the
Yeah.
same person in a different face, and and your everything inside of you tells you no. That's when you do, like you suggested, push the pause button
Mhm.
and just take a deep breath, and then envision, okay, I'm 5 years ahead. Where's this?
Yeah.
Or that teeny tiny change. Did it take me to Australia when I wanted to go to New York? Right.
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 It's like,
Right. I mean, that is so true. I mean, you look at you look at how off track, how easy it is to get off track because of the variables of life that come in, right?
yes,
And especially it kind of feels like it's been that way over the last few years, right? Because we've got a lot of societal pressures and things that have happened, and continue to happen. And so as you're working with clients, as I'm working with clients, and people, I think this is what we're both, the message that we're both sending out is those things are going to happen regardless.
right.
How you operate yourself within that is going to make all the difference,
Yes.
right? What does Joseph McClendon say? There's no such thing as a stressless person, but a person that stresses less.
Yes.
And I think, man alive, the amount of stress that the kids that I get to encounter with, how stressed out they are. Even my own kids are like, Dad, I just can't. And I say, okay, let's pause. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's address what we're thinking and feeling, right?
Mhm.
And you're
Mhm.
doing the same thing with your clients and your adults, because why? They're coming to you saying, Cindy, help me live a victorious life. I,
Yes.
I used to back here. If I
Right.
think back to a time in my life where things were working well, this is what was going on.
Mhm.
I'm over here going, this isn't me. How do
Yeah.
I get here, Cindy? Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Yes. And think of the stresses when we were kiddos. I mean, I didn't go to school thinking I was gonna potentially get shot.
Yep.
I mean, that's traumatizing, right? So again, I applaud you for your work. It's so important, and the things that you're doing. I'm grateful to be in your sphere. of- It's awesome. Thank you. And
Yeah.
thanks for having me today. Like seriously, this was a
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah. No, this was great, and I appreciate that. I love how very much in alignment we are, in energy and
Mm.
vision and action. And it's a privilege to have gotten to know you over the last couple of years. And
Yes.
listen, people around the world, as you are watching this or catching the replay later on, um, if something that you connect with today is stirring that little piece inside of you, you're feeling
Yes.
that you've connected to something, don't hesitate to reach out
Yes.
to us in this, because we want you to know, people like Cindy and I, we're here for you,
Yes.
right? We doesn't matter where in the world you are, we will help you create that victorious life.
Yes, we
You can
will.
have that energetic life now. And
Yes.
so to find Cindy and hers, I know I've been referencing her Facebook, but how else, Cindy, might we listeners around the world connect with you?
Well, I have createyourvictoriouslife.com. They can go there. You can set a time. If there isn't a time available that works for you, just shoot me an email. My email is there as well. Also, my show is on Thursdays at 3 p.m. PST Pacific. Yes. And Eric is hopefully will be a guest on my show. I know we've chatted about that. I'm so excited for that. Next week is Binu Keller. So that's going to be exciting. And it's 6 p.m. Eastern on every Thursday on the Spanglish Network, just like this, channels 250 and 251. And on Instagram. So Cindy Gould, I think most of the time my hair looks like this on there. So, or close to it. You'll recognize me. Just send me a friend request, private message me, whatever you need to do. I would love to hear from you. And thank you. And one question that I have, and just your audience is, what do you have to believe to create a victorious life? You know,
Boy,
what do you
that's
have
a beautiful question. It's a beautiful question. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Energetic Life Now. And then I'm also on LinkedIn. And again, you can message me there, and we'll get a time which we can connect. So just wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Cindy, for being here. This was great. I think we touched on a lot of really good soul searching pieces here, and we wish you all the best from us to you. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network, so please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.